Today, they try to throw salt, it just made the pressure raise. Going through a phase, gotta get myself out it. Don't talk about it, boy, they said you gotta be about it. So I be trying to face the world head on. Front seat riding, cruising down the meadows. Pedal to the meadow, cool breeze blowing down the windows. Calm trees, blowing trees, get that boy some headroom. On the interstate in traffic, but I swerve out. What's the moves for the night, what's the word now? What's the links, hit me up, we could go now. I got hella pieces, she got hella features. Get me hella geeked up, she be blowing shisha. Reefer on me loud, hope them boys don't creep up. I don't know a thing if you do not speak up. In my own world, I don't try to girl,
tell me what you want. Don't be tryna front like I ain't what you want. I ain't here to stun, let me take you out for lunch. I'ma get you drunk, yeah, feeling on your buns. Licks in the blunt, I got ash in my cup. All these girls showing up, but I don't give a f. Cause you the one I want, girl, you the one I want. Girl, you the one I want. Hey, come and show me love. Shorty wanna be a rider, and I'm feeling high, I can't deny it. She a bad joint named Maya, and when I seen her, man, she look fire. She got me feeling higher than a sour, so I'm tryna feel how I feel inside her. I asked her what she doing, she like nada. Said she just chillin', about to get up in the shower. I said, alright, cool, I'ma be there in an hour. I just wanna live like a Kuna and Matata. I ain't got no time for no baby mama drama. All about my comments, my letters, no tomatoes. Always bragging what they got up in they wallet. Ain't no really telling if we let her see tomorrow. Get it on my own, I ain't really tryna bar. So I stay fly, gotta dress up in designer.
Tell me what it is, what you want from me, what you want from me. Tell me what it is, don't tell me what it ain't. They try to throw salt, it just made the pressure raise. Going through a phase, gotta get myself out it. Don't talk about it, boy, they said you gotta be about it. So I be trying to face the world head on. Front seat riding, cruising down the meadows. Pedal to the meadow, cool breeze blowing down the windows. Calm trees, blowing trees, get that boy some headroom.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday, Junior, y'all.
Hey, I was about to say, it's Friday's Eve. Welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth and not care who doesn't like it. It is Thursday, May 27th, 2021. James, feels like these weeks are funny like that, right? Some weeks go by so slow, but this week, man, this week for me has gone by so quick. It feels like we were just complaining about Monday a few hours ago.
Right, dude. I had to remind myself today it's Thursday, not Wednesday. I'm like, oh, it's Wednesday. Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah,
it's
man.
Thursday.
Exactly. We're one day closer to the weekend. Good morning to everyone across all the chat rooms, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. I think is it Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. That's everywhere we're streaming. Be sure to click the like, share, and subscribe button. Thank you to everyone who's supporting this program. We do appreciate you. I want to begin with just a nod to the mass shooting that took place yesterday, and something strange has happened. It's not even major news. It is a major tragedy, but it's like you would not even know that many people were killed yesterday because it is so commonplace in our country. And to be honest with you, I don't really know how many more times we can diagnose the problem without our leaders doing something to give us a solution, because we're repeating the same thing over and over again. In fact, that exact phrase, we're repeating things over and over again, is what we repeat every time this happens. It is so frequent. It's so frequent that I don't even believe it trended on Twitter yesterday, because we're just used to it. And now, of course, the families are heartbroken, and of course there's so much pain, but we got to do something about it, folks. America has a problem of gun violence and mass shootings. And it just seems as though we're never going to do anything about it because the National Rifle Association and conservatives who are obsessed with the Second Amendment, they want you to be, it is easier for you to get a gun in some states than it is for you to get a driver's license. And as a result, we have so many guns. There are more guns on the streets than we have citizens in this country. And of course, that type of thing leads to violence. That said, I want to move to some national news and talk about the filibuster that the Senate Republicans are preparing to block the independent commission that is going to, if passed, investigate what happened on January 6th. Senate Republicans are doing all they can to block the January 6th commission from passing their chambers. Several members of the Senate have made it clear that they have every intention to filibuster the bipartisan independent commission, and most observers believe that this is expressly because of political reasons. Republicans are trying to protect themselves from where this commission is likely to lead. Meanwhile, the mother of Capitol Police officer who was killed, or rather died after clashing with the protesters, went to the offices of every Republican senator on Wednesday, demanding that they drop their opposition to creating the independent commission. Gladys Sicknick, who is a mother of Officer Brian D. Sicknick, warned Republican senators that blocking the commission would be a, quote, slap in the faces of officers. The mother of the fallen officer did not pull any punches in her statement, saying the following, quote, I suggest that all congressmen and senators who are against this bill visit my son's grave in Arlington National Cemetery. And while there, think about what their hurtful decisions will do to those officers who will be there for them going forward. She went on to say the following, quote, putting politics aside, wouldn't they want to know the truth of what happened on January 6th? If not, they do not deserve to have the jobs they were elected to do. Now, despite the bipartisan House approval of the 10-person commission, with 35 Republicans joining Democrats in support, Republicans like Mitch McConnell are making every effort possible to block the commission. Here's what McConnell said, reducing the insurrection of January 6th down to nothing more than political games being played by Democrats.
What happened on January 6th was a travesty, the culmination of months of deliberate lies about our elections, propagated by the former president, a dishonest man, and his allies. The Capitol was breached for the first time since the War of 1812. Capitol police officers were brutalized. One was killed in the attack. I shouldn't need to remind this chamber of the scene on January 6th. We were all there. At one point, I was within 20 feet of these white supremacist hooligans.
Now, that was Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, as he was describing the events of January 6th, and he aptly called them white supremacist hooligans. I want to play here the clip of Mitch McConnell as he tries to get out of having a commission in the first place. Let's take a listen in.
I think at the heart of this recommendation by the Democrats is that they would like to continue to debate things that occurred in the past. They'd like to continue to litigate the former president into the future. We think the American people going forward and in the fall of 22 ought to focus on what this administration is doing to the country and what the clear choice is that we have made to oppose most of these initiatives. So I think this is a purely political exercise that adds nothing to the sum total of information.
Mitt Romney, senator from Utah, along with Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Susan Collins of Maine, they have all stated that they will vote yes on the commission. They are the only Republicans who have stated that thus far. But that is not enough to cross the supermajority threshold that is required to break the filibuster. This is what Senator Mitt Romney had to say about it on CNN yesterday. He said the following, quote, I think the perception is on the part of the public that the January 6th commission just trying to get to the truth of what happened, and that Republicans would be seen as not wanting to let the truth come out. I mean, that's quite an understatement, considering the truth that will come out will lay at the feet of many Republicans, the leader of them being Donald Trump. Clearly, those Republican leaders all around the nation are fearful of what that detailed investigation into the January 6th insurrectionist attack inspired by former President Donald Trump will lead to. It will likely lead back to any number of members of the Republican Party. And what they are most concerned about above anything else is how that will harm their prospects for taking back the House of Representatives in the midterms. So in other words, while the mother of Brian Sicknick is pleading to Republican senators to do something to investigate how we got where we were on January 6th, Republicans are worried about the midterm elections. And so Republicans are faced with whether they want to protect their own political careers or protect American democracy. And I'm quite sure we all know exactly what decision they are going to make. I want to move to Arizona at this point. Arizona is attempting to strip power from the Democratic Secretary of State. While Trump supporters were so outraged about their defeat in November that they stormed the Capitol in an attempt to overthrow our democracy through force, rank and file Republicans across the country are attempting to steal our democracy through voter suppression laws aimed to ensure that they will never lose again. Tuesday, Arizona Republicans passed a bill that would strip the Democratic Secretary of State, Katie Hobbs, of her constitutionally granted powers to defend election laws. This comes amid the backdrop of the furious efforts by Republican officials in Arizona to find something, anything that they could use to overturn the results of the election. And the move to strip Katie Hobbs of her, again, state constitutionally granted rights to defend election lawsuits in her role as Secretary of State. This is merely a retaliation for her criticism of their so-called election audit. The bill puts the Republican Attorney General Mark Brovanich in charge of defending all lawsuits, but not permanently. This is not a permanent change. This is just through January 2nd, 2023, which is the end of Katie Hobbs' term, and conveniently after the midterm elections. Here's Katie Hobbs speaking about the issue on CNN yesterday.
Retaliation for me doing the job that the Arizona voters elected me to do. And it is blatantly unconstitutional. Quite frankly, it'll make it very difficult to do my job. As the chief election officer of the state, if somebody files a suit over an election issue, I'm the named defendant. It would give the attorney general carte blanche to respond to these lawsuits however he saw fit, which in the last several months has not been on the side of Arizona voters, which is partly why this is happening right now.
Now, when you combine these efforts in Arizona with all the legislation we're seeing Republicans pass on the state level all across the nation, it's clear that even though they cannot get majorities to win, Republicans never intend to lose power ever again. They're playing for keeps, folks. And it has been so many times before. Somebody has said this, James, and it's just coming to my mind now. What's the saying? If voting didn't matter, why are they trying so hard to keep us from voting?
Yeah.
And it is at every level of the state. You see secretaries of state having their power stripped away from them, giving that power to somebody like some Republican official who would be able to, after election, if they don't like the results, they'll be able to challenge it and then in some cases overturn it. And they're breaking down all of the different parts of our democracy that actually sustain the democracy. And here's the other thing. Like, it's not as though our democracy is particularly healthy anyway. It's not as though us simply voting for people has changed a whole lot. Right. You know, we're going back and forth now with the Biden administration as it pertains to like how much money they're going to use for infrastructure, whether or not they're going to cancel student debt, whether or not they're going to give us another bailout, whether it's going to be a $2,000 bailout or a $14,000. It's not as though the people are getting what they need through the system as it is. But that's not even good enough for Republicans. Republicans are saying, no. We don't want you to get anything. We not only want you to not get any economic help, but we don't want you to have any political power. We don't want you to have any ability to overturn our pursuit to push this country so far right. And we're seeing it here in Georgia at levels like the stuff that's being done right now are legitimately things that would destroy this country and they would destroy this democratic experiment simply for the sake of their political power. And man, like the flip side of it is you have so many people. I know you've heard this a lot of times, James. You have so many people who think voting doesn't matter, and they make it a statement of oh, I don't have to vote. Listen, they're damn near breaking the Constitution and breaking all of democracy to keep us from voting. So that tells me it's got to mean something. What do you think, man?
Yeah, you're right, man. I mean, it's just like, y'all please go out and vote. If you think it doesn't matter, it matters a considerable amount. Just seeing how much they're trying to stop us. You think these laws affect everyone in the country? No, it affects black people directly.
Yeah.
Know that. Deal with that. You need to make sure you get out there and vote. Know your rights, your laws, everything. And you're right, Ben. They're removing all of these Secretary of States from everywhere. It's crazy. It's just like they want total control over everything, so they can flip elections and do everything they want.
Absolutely. They cannot. The thing is, they don't have the ability to win at the polling booth anymore. They don't, right?
Yep.
Their demographic is dying out. You know, they fear this. They have this white replacement theory. And truth is, like, yeah, y'all are going to be a minority. And because they know they're going to be a minority eventually, they're doing everything they can now to keep us from being able to do anything politically. So what we'll have is essentially our own apartheid state, where you have the minority of people running the majority of this nation. And we've seen this, like in South Africa right now. Not at this present moment. The present economic structure in South Africa is that a very small minority of white South Africans own all of the land, as opposed to the vast majority of black South Africans that are there. In the past, it was a very small minority of white South Africans who had all of the political power, as opposed to all of the black South Africans who were there. That's what we're headed towards here in this country, because the Republican Party has a dying out demographic. Old white conservatives are dying out, and they're not replacing themselves as quickly as black and brown people who have had to be progressive in years past. We've absolutely had to be progressive and fight for radical change because we had to fight against white supremacy. And so we are growing in numbers, and that's what they're fearful of. But they think it is absolutely okay. They have every expectation to have an America where they are in the minority and still able to dominate and control the entire population. No, never mind the fact that we have the majority. I mean, even right now, we have a majority of Americans who are voting in a certain direction. But because of the Electoral College and because of voter suppression, we've seen several elections, not only on the national level, but also on the local level and on the state levels, where those elections have been taken away from the majority of the people in this country. So it's already happening. But what they're trying to do is make it a matter of law. They're trying to make it a matter of law where the minority group has the dominating power over the majority group. And this is what they're trying to. And then when you think about it, it's a question of constitutionality. Another part of what Katie Hobbs said in the clip, we didn't play this portion, but another thing that she said was this is unconstitutional. And so, trying to steal away her constitutional right as given as Secretary of State to defend election lawsuits, taking that away is an unconstitutional move. But here's the thing. If you have nothing but conservative judges sitting on the bench, then they're going to rule not based on the Constitution. They're going to rule based on their ideology. And you look at these state Supreme Courts all around the country. These state Supreme Courts are ever growing more conservative in terms of the balance of the court. And we see in the Supreme Court, the balance of the Supreme Court, we're at a 6-3 conservative majority now. So even if it is unconstitutional, the people who would make the decision about the constitutionality are political operatives. And they will be able to look at everybody in the face and say, we don't care how unconstitutional this law is. We're going to say that it is constitutional. And so Republicans are absolutely playing for keeps. And we can't take that for granted. We can't just think that this is business as usual. Democrats need to really understand that this is not politics as usual. This is playing for keeps. And if they don't do something about it now, then we're going to find ourselves at the point where we won't be able to do anything about it, because Republicans would have seized control at every single level.
Right. Real quick, Ben, want to read a couple of super chats before you go to the next story. Infinite content. So we need to figure out how to have independent commissions to do fair districting of maps. And also of maps in the state, excuse me. And then Tiger, I fight so damn hard with my anarcho belief friends about voting because they think it just doesn't matter. They don't understand they're being played. Absolutely. And also shout out to, oh man, we got a few star senders as well too. Chuck Henderson sent 150 stars. Tracy Jones sent 200. This is so sad, Benjamin Dixon. And Ronnie Angel sent 500 stars as well. So thank y'all for y'all support. We greatly appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for the support. It absolutely matters. I want to talk about Tiger's comment. There are so many people in my circles and to the further left of me who make that same argument. Hell, it happens. The conversation happens in black communities all the time. You sit in the barbershop and you go into the barbershop talking about voting and everybody can be like, you know what I mean? Because, there's this perception that voting doesn't matter. But seriously, voting at this point is not a thing. I don't look at voting as a way of changing things for the better. And I know that sucks. But, when these politicians get in office, they don't do a whole lot to make things a lot better for working people across this country. That's just it. That is categorically true. And can't nobody tell me otherwise. Now, we'll see what Joe Biden does. But you know what? We'll see. That said, voting has to be looked at as, at this point, stopping full-on fascism from taking over this country. A lot of people are, and I'm one of them, upset that all these elected officials we send up there aren't making things better for working people. But I also look at the other side of the equation with people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Donald Trump, Tom Cotton. Those type of people would absolutely love to turn America into, honestly, Handmaid's Tale. They would love to turn America into a theocracy where nobody has any political power unless you're a white Christian man, land-owning man. Right. Nobody would have any economic. They want to dominate this system for their own personal beliefs and their own personal goals and agenda and ambitions. And so at this point, voting, I don't look at voting as going to the poll. Hey, we're going to change the world for the better. I look at voting as, hey, hold. We got to stop these crazy ass Republicans from turning this country into a full blown dystopia. And so that's how I look at it. We got to change the paradigm so that we got to send people up there who actually will make the world better for us.
Absolutely.
But that might be asking too much in America 2021. Maybe we'll talk about Handmaid's Tale. I mentioned it, Handmaid's Tale, a little bit in the after party. I don't know if anybody watches that, but man, yesterday's episode, Lord, I'll tell you about it in the after party, patreon.com. You ever watched it, James?
So I watched maybe a couple of episodes, and I'm not enough in it to know what's going on, but my mom has watched it since the beginning. Mom loves it. So
she's okay.
Mostly anytime mom watches something and she loves it like that, I know it's good. So I said I was going to go back and watch it. I binge watch so much stuff, and I love like shows like that. So I was like, it's on my list to go back and finish watching. And then real quick, A.R. Walker sent a super chat. Voting does matter, but Dems are so useless. Makes it seem it doesn't. They have the majority, still no voting or police reform, even failing at improving infrastructure. Dems are weak, trash. And unfortunately, it's the truth.
Listen, look at what we're talking about. Look at what Republicans are blocking right now, right? Right. That might be harsh, but I think it's harsh for a small segment of my audience. But here's the truth. If the Democrats don't play hardball and get rid of this filibuster, then we're absolutely not going to be able to get anything done at all. We're not going to be able to protect voting rights. And if we don't protect voting rights, all of this legislation that's been passed across the country is absolutely going to come back to hurt them and hurt us. We won't be able to elect anybody again because Republicans are ensuring that at every level that they break our right to vote. And so if Democrats don't do what's necessary to make sure, they're at this point, they're going to have to break the filibuster in order to get the January 6th commission, because you're not going to get Republicans who are willing to actually investigate things at the level that it needs to be investigated. So on the front end, that comment is absolutely right. On the front end, you have Republicans who are trying to undermine our right to vote. And on the back end, you have Republicans who said that if we don't get our way, we'll tear down this entire democracy. And if we're not going to protect the right to vote and smoke out all these people who are willing to destroy this democracy just because they didn't get their way, then what are we doing, Democrats? No, seriously, what are we doing if we're not going to fight for the fundamentals of our democracy? All because of something that's not even in the Constitution. It's something that's created on behalf of land owning slave owners to protect white supremacy in this country. The filibuster can be arranged. It is a rule. The filibuster is a Senate rule. It's not ingrained in the Constitution. It is something that they vote on in the Senate, and they can determine whether it stays or whether it goes. Now, to that end, if you're going to uphold this thing above the right to vote and above the democracy itself, then maybe this democracy isn't going to work, Democrats. So what are you going to do about it? I absolutely agree with that comment. All right, real quick, before we go to our first break, this is a bit of positive and inspiring news. Howard University is naming the College of Fine Arts after Chadwick Boseman.
Awesome. And, oh my God.
Yeah, he is an alumni. 20 years ago, he graduated from Howard University, and we all know, most of us know him as T'Challa from Black Panther. Most of us know him from all the different movies. I mean, if we just go down the list of movies that this guy did, and James, he did it while he was battling cancer. And we lost him last year. And as an acknowledgement of how significant he is in our culture and in this country in general, Howard University, an HBCU, is going to change the name of the College of Fine Arts and name it after Chadwick Boseman, man. That really touched me when I heard that news.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, Howard has always been a stand-up university. It's one of the top HBCUs in the country. So, yeah, shout out to Howard for doing that, man. That's like freaking awesome.
Yeah. They also, last month, they named they put Felicia Rashad from The Cosby Show. She's over the School of Fine Arts. So it's going to be a really interesting fall coming up, having the school now named after the late Chadwick Boseman and being headed up by Felicia Rashad. It's a whole lot of great things that are happening at that university. It's not great enough for me to send my kids there because we're Bethune-Cookman household. But I'm sorry. Hang on. My wife is watching. We're split between Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M. All right,
you better fix that.
Yeah. I got to fix that. And quiet as it kept, like since we're in Atlanta, we probably end up sending them to Morehouse and Spelman, right? So, right. But it's just solidarity and love, HBCU love all the way around the board. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to play a clip of Elizabeth Warren ripping into a bank CEO over overdraft fees. More like it or not after this.
Good morning again, everyone. We hope that you are enjoying the show thus far. Make sure that you stay tuned. Real quick, Laura Strada sent us a super chat saying that man was a prophet. Yes, he was. Chadwick Boseman was just awesome soul. And real quick, while we have it at it, we're going to go ahead and get these new patrons named off for yesterday. New patrons for yesterday. We have Carrie V. Cirillo, you. Sorry, Cirillo, if I said that wrong. T. Cornish. We have Sky C. Rosie B. Martha. New Twitch subscribers. Shout out to everyone that's watching on Twitch right now and streaming. We appreciate y'all. We have Lars Technica, who subscribed with Prime. We have Anti-Social Communist, who subscribed 4 months with Prime. And we have Platinum Yeti, who cheered 3 bits. Hey, y'all, we greatly appreciate y'all, man. Hey, if you do want to become a patron, if you are not, you can go to patreon.com/likeitnornot. Patreon.com/likeitnornot. Go to support the show, get exclusive content, y'all, and get access to our what they call patron parties, y'all, Friday nights. You don't want to miss these patron parties are off the damn chain. I'm not gonna lie to you, y'all. Anyway, we're gonna get into some of this good music real quick before we go back to break, y'all. Shout out good morning to mama and daddy, and shout out Sensation, good morning to you.
As long as you get what you want, when you got yourself a new man, it ain't even been a month.
Shout out to Savage Sweetheart, Capital Mob Records, thank you for your super chat. He says, if you don't want your congressmen all in the videos, dancing, rapping, come to Capital Mob Records because independent voting is the best route. Okay. I like that.
Float like a balloon, an apple, empty bottle, cork, styrofoam, and most dead bodies. You killing me, homicide. Look at your lying eyes. I should have been better.
All right, so make sure that you follow Like It or Not Show on Instagram and Facebook. Follow Like It or Not Show on Instagram and Facebook, y'all. You won't be disappointed, y'all. Make sure that you tune in and join. Shout out, brother Latif, Alicia, Mara. Good morning, y'all.
Cause up close, baby, you a ghost. You a demon, and you should float. Get out the way and just go.
And here's a throwback jam for y'all today. Got you. Highlighted comment from Twitch. Let's see. Give me a second. Let me pull this up. Slide to the right. The Chicken Fried Dragon. Shout out Chicken Fried Dragon. Always love that name. Dems raise more money than when the GOP is in the power and effing up the country. Dems raise more money when the GOP is in power and effing up the country. Woo, Chicken Fried Dragon. You said the word right there. Y'all let that sink in. Everybody just need to slide on to the left, for real. Moni Shell, thank you for your stars. She sent 99 stars, y'all. We appreciate you. Chuck Diesel, don't break anything this morning, brother. I appreciate you. Rashida Campbell, thank you so much for your stars. She sent 235. And Gina Mitchell Sims Johnson says, good morning, family, and sent 100 stars. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, everybody on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. Love y'all, man. We mean it. Y'all keep sending these stars. Boy, man, I love this. Can't keep up. Look, Jennifer Bell Felder, we thank you too. Sent 50 stars. We appreciate you. And then another super chat. Boy, I love y'all. Y'all is family for real. Shout out Phil B. Bit behind, but whoever said Dems are weak and trash are right on. They are the enablers to the psycho-abusive party. It's a Harlem Globetrotters production. They the Watch Generals. We in trouble.
Man, listen, our audience is ruthless and they're generous. I've never seen such a generous group of people and ruthless because somebody will drop $100 super chat just to say the Dems are trash. You know what I mean? And listen. I took it on the chin. I just want to make sure we're clear on something. Like, as many criticisms as I have of the Democratic Party, which there's a long list of them, but right. If Donald Trump was still in power right now today, I have no idea what kind of condition we would be in, right? And so I think it was Phil. What was that last one you read? It was from Phil B.
Phil B. Yep.
It feels like kabuki theater. It feels like a show. Because we know what we got to do. The Democrats know what they got to do. I did an interview not too long ago. Actually, it was a long time ago. It was earlier this year. And then a couple of years before that, I interviewed the guy twice. His name is David Ferris. And he wrote a book called It's Time to Fight Dirty. And he outlined all of the things. And we've known this for years. Like, we got to make Puerto Rico and D.C. a state so that they can get senators. We have to be willing to pack the court. We have to be willing to get rid of the filibuster. Those are just three things that we have to do in order just to bring some balance back to this democracy where we're not playing always like playing a game of chicken with fascism. It's like we're staring fascism in the damn face, man, and we know it's coming. Margaret Atwood is the author of the original novel, The Handmaid's Tale. I think it was written somewhere around 1985. I could be wrong on that, but it was written long before Donald Trump got into politics. It looks the way she described how America could fall and what it will fall from and what the country would look like afterwards is exactly what it looks like we're headed to. Like, man, when you have Amy Coney Barrett on the bench, the Supreme Court, she is, and we're getting ready to see cases go up to the Supreme Court dealing with Roe versus Wade. And they're going to absolutely use that as an opportunity to overturn a woman's right to choose. And you have a lot of conservatives, that's not even going to be good enough for them because they want to outlaw same-sex marriage. They want to outlaw health. There's some that want to make the LGBTQIA community illegal. Right. Yep. There are people in power right now with a significant amount of money with way bigger platforms than we got. I'm talking about millions of people listening to them every single day. They would be more than elated to turn this country into a Christo-fascist theocracy, where if you don't worship Christ the exact way, see, even me, like, James, you and me, we both grow up in the Christian tradition, the Black Baptist tradition, where the preacher would hoop and my father was a preacher for 40 years, but they would throw me up on the wall, bro, because my type of faith is totally different than my type of Christianity is different than their Christianity. So it's not about just being a Christian. It's about being the type of Christian that Republicans say you gotta be. Yep. And that's the kind of world that they're trying to craft. And Democrats, you see it coming. You see it coming and you're not going to stop it. So, yeah, like, I don't mind. Like, yeah, go ahead, man.
Ben is just like the Democrats or the Republicans of the left, maybe. It's just like y'all secondhand Republicans. That's what y'all acting man. Like. Because if y'all did half of the stuff that the Republican Party did, do you know how the Democratic Party would be? Oh, but man. No, we have to be so lenient and just like, okay. No, bipartisanship. Man, F all that. Let's get it. Let's go.
It's time to fight, man. We absolutely got to fight because Republicans have been fighting. I mean, think about it, man. I usually, when I talk about somebody who's dead, I usually say something like, God bless the dead and stuff. No. Think about Rush Limbaugh. Thank God he's dead. That dude for 40 years. No, seriously, man. I've come to terms with this. Like, my humanity is okay. My faith, right. My heart. I'm a good person. I'm still a good person, even though I know it is absolutely America is better because that monster is dead. Right. Yeah. For 40 years, that man on radio and television every single day drugged this country closer and closer to fascism. And he died one of the richest men in this country, one of the richest men in this country. And he died getting an award from the president, the highest civilian award from the president of the United States. See, that's what we're fighting against. We're fighting against entrenched money, entrenched power. We're fighting against people who have no regard for our lives. And on the other side, Democrats are trying to have bipartisanship? Nah.
We trying to work together. Damn that. Ruthless Dragon sent the super chat, said, I heard you say my name.
Hey, who else name we need to say?
Ruthless Dragon. I know. You drop a super chat, I'll say your name all goddamn day on the show, okay? Sorry about that, man. Go ahead, brother.
No. It's all good. This next clip is actually, I really enjoyed this next clip. And it is funny but sad at the same time. I'll be honest with you, this might take up the rest of the show because if I start asking the audience about your overdraft fee experience, we could talk all day long. But I want you to listen to Elizabeth Warren as she mollywopped Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan and Chase. I mean, she drug him for filth. Let's take a look at it and then we'll discuss.
Mr. Dimon, how much did JP Morgan collect in overdraft fees from their consumers in 2020?
Well, I think your numbers are totally inaccurate, but we'll have to sit down privately and go through that.
These are public numbers.
And I also want to point out we did not overdraft.
Can you just answer my question? How much did JP Morgan collect?
We did not overdraft at the Fed account. And at any request,
so you never. I'm sorry, Mr. Dimon. That was Mr. Dimon. That was not the question. Did you had an automatic protection? So I'm asking. You were recommended, the regulators recommended you offer that same kind of protection to your customers. How much, in fact, did JP Morgan collect in overdraft fees from their customers in 2020? Do you know the number?
I don't know the number in front of me, but
I actually have the number in front of me.
Upon request,
$1.463 billion. That's nearly $1.5 billion that you collected from your customers. Now, do you know how much JP Morgan's profit would have been in 2020 if you had followed the recommendation of the regulators and waived overdraft fees to help struggling consumers? In other words, without that overdraft money, would your bank have been in financial trouble?
We waived the fees for customers upon request if they were under stress because of COVID.
You know, I appreciate that you want to duck this question. Do you know how much your profits would have been if you'd actually waived all the fees as the regulators recommended?
We waived the fees every time.
The answer is your profits would have been $27.6 billion. I did the math for you. So here's the thing. You and your colleagues come in today to talk about how you stepped up and took care of customers during the pandemic, and it's a bunch of baloney. In fact, it's about $4 billion worth of baloney, but you could fix that right now. Mr. Diamond, will you commit right now to refund the $1.5 billion you took from consumers during the pandemic?
No.
Right now?
No.
That's
no. Right? Let me go through this real quick, and I want everybody in the audience, because here's one of the things that I know is true about how this system is maintained. It's maintained because most of us, particularly in this social media generation, we got to stunt for the gram, and we can never really be honest and say, hey, I've been struggling. Nobody gets on social media really and says that, I've had overdraft fees. I want everybody in the comments section, as we discuss this, I want you, if nothing else, to just raise your hands if you have been a victim of these overdraft fees, because I know I have. I'm going to start with my story, right? I'm not going to tell you how recent I've dealt with overdraft fees. I'm going to mark it back a couple years when I was a teacher. When I was a teacher, James, every time I got paid, it was an easy $150, $200 in overdraft fees that they took out of my account. And I could never figure out why. No matter how much I try to budget, I'm like, what is happening? And what I found out Bank of America was doing was that they would take your biggest transaction and they would move it and put it in front of all of your smallest transactions. And what does that do? That's instead of you getting one overdraft fee for, let's say, rent. You get your rent paid and you're short. Let's say you're short $25. You get an overdraft fee for $35. You can manage that. But once they move that transaction and put it in front of everything little, you end up paying $35 for a cup of coffee. You end up paying $35 for a little meal from McDonald's. You end up paying $35 more for the gas that you got. And so what they did, they had a class action lawsuit because of this, because it turned out that this was wrong. It was illegal, right? But between the time, along the way that they did that, they made billions of dollars maximizing their overdraft fees by rearranging your purchases. And I know there's at least 5 people watching us right now who has absolutely experienced that. Well, I want to give you a little bit of data on this. In 2020, banks made $30 billion in overdraft fees. During the pandemic, they made $30 billion in overdraft fees. And while Elizabeth Warren was talking to JP Morgan and Chase, they made $1.463 billion by themselves. That one bank. And you would think that, well, maybe, they made $27 billion. They would have made $27 billion in profit without the overdraft fees. That, hey, maybe they don't have to, hurt poor people. Maybe they don't need that $1.5 billion. Maybe they would be satisfied with the $27.6 billion. And what did he say at the end of that clip? He said, no, we're keeping y'all money. Right now, a couple more things, and I want you to jump in there, James, because if you're living in America, especially if you're a black person, you know about these overdraft fees. Like we ain't, I don't know if I would tell you how recently I with it, but the truth is that when I finally, when I was a teacher, I sat down and I analyzed every single line, and it wasn't just, I couldn't just analyze every purchase. I had to look at the timing of the purchases. And that was the only way I was able to figure out what they were doing. It took me like 2 months to figure out that what they were doing was rearranging my purchases and putting my rent first and all of my little things later. And that's how they maximized my overdraft fees. I went to that bank in Boynton Beach, Florida, and I asked, and I, in my own, polite way, as polite as I could be, considering they had gotten hundreds of dollars out of me, I asked the bank manager why they would do that to people who don't already have money. And you know what she said? She said, we got to make money off of you somehow. This is how they make money off of poor people, is through overdraft fees. And they've been doing it for a long time, and it is $1 billion industry. And everybody watching this, I would venture to say everybody watching us has experienced that at some level.
Oh, yeah. Laura Strada says overdraft fees screwed my credit. Tiger Hell, you mean I got hit with overdraft fees just this week? That transaction theory is true, Ben. I've been paying attention, and it's how they do it. And then also Mark S. Banks make me so mad I want to issue catch these hands fee. Bro, like honestly, dude, I was over here fuming a few minutes ago when you just said that, Ben. I'm just like, $30 billion, dude.
$30 billion. And during the pandemic.
During the pandemic, that's just in 2020 alone. If you go back, dude, I can guarantee you it's much, much higher than that. Yeah. But my story is similar, dude. I mean, mine, Bank of America and other banks as well, too. I've been with a prepaid card banking company, oh my gosh, definitely almost 20 years because I hated getting those overdraft fees. It can be like, I know I had the money in the account. Everything came out. It said it came out. So all of a sudden you refund the transaction or something else comes out. You put the money back in. Then you try to go take the money back out. Now it's not enough money. And you hear me with these overdraft fees. And I don't know if you remember at one point, I think overdraft fees used to be like you used to get one every so many days or something like that. At one point. Yeah. So here it is. They're just constantly stacking up. I'm just like, yo, there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to pay this back. No, so now you can easily write it off. You can just write it off and you'll get your money either way it goes.
Bro, man, I can't tell you. Listen, okay, so here's the other thing he was saying in this clip. He was saying that, he said they waived fees upon request. If somebody was struggling, they would waive fees. Man. Okay, let me tell you. Let me tell you. You at Bank of America, you only get 5 fees waived every year. Now, the way they set their system up, I could have easily gotten, and when I was a teacher, I certainly did get like 5 overdraft fees every pay period because of how they were hustling us, right? So what is giving me 5 overdraft fees back once a year compared to the fact that you've been hitting and screwing people every single paycheck, 5 overdraft fees, right? So this is like they want to get credit for this little token, but they're making billions of dollars. Every bank is making billions of dollars a year off of overdraft fees. And here's a kicker. During 2020, no bank was charged any fees or any overdraft fees. Like if banks overdraft their account with the Fed, with the Federal Reserve, they get fined, they get a penalty, they get a fee. Federal regulators waived those fees for them in 2020. And back in March of 2020, they said, we're waiving this for you. We recommend that you waive it for your people, for your consumers, for your customers. Did they do it? No. So they got a benefit from the government that they didn't pass down to us, and they made $20 billion. I think I said 30, but it's $20 billion that they made in 2020 off of overdraft fees, which is still obscene and perverse.
It's still obscene.
It's still out of control, man.
Crazy, so man. Real quick, got some more.
Go for it.
Chicken Fried Dragon on Twitch. When the profits are greater than the fines, there is no incentive not to break the law. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then one more, Afro Puff, Twitch highlighted comment. The thing is, without overdraft fees, they would have still made money hand over fist.
That's
absolutely right. That's the thing. And that's so real. Without these fees, you still would have made money. So this just adding to your bottom line. You just stacking up paper.
Stacking paper and leaving people. I mean, and like, do they understand? They understand and they don't care.
Yep.
Like when you got these overdraft fees, that you can't put gas in your car to get to work. You can't buy groceries to feed your kids. And people in this country have been living paycheck to paycheck for the longest, all of my life. They have ripped apart the working class and the middle class for so many years. It goes well beyond my lifetime. But right now, today, they're looking at people in the middle of a pandemic who are already living paycheck to paycheck. A lot of people lost their jobs, right?
Yeah.
And people are scraping up dimes and pennies, man. People, you know how many people I used to see going, hell, I used to go grab change around the house, put it together and go into that Coinstar.
Yeah.
That's why they got Coinstar machines at every grocery store.
Man.
Come on, man. They know how bad we struggling and they sitting back hustling us, rearranging our purchases to maximize the overdraft fees. And then they're like, oh, yeah, well, we'll waive 5 of them. You got 60 overdraft fees from somebody last year and you're going to waive 5 of them. So that's why I just leave the banks. Just like, hey, y'all can stay with, keep that balance. I'm gonna move on to another bank.
Keep it. I'm good. Hey, brother Goku just said, he said, twisted T fees. Take my money again. Take it again. Pop.
I got this one. You got it. There you go.
Yeah, you got okay. Amber Layla. Good morning, Amber. Credit unions are the only way to go. Absolutely. And Gwen just wanted to send some money. Hey, Mama.
Gwen. Hey, Mama Gwen. Mama Gwen. Good morning. Thank you for that super chat. Right. Well, let me give you another story that's going to make you mad. But actually, we probably could laugh. This was not as bad, as infuriating. Central Park Karen. She is the woman who called the police on the dog, the bird watcher. Her name is Karen or Amy Cooper. I wanted to call her Karen Cooper. Her real name is Amy Cooper. And she is the white woman who called 911 on a black man committing the crime of bird watching in Central Park. She has decided to file a discrimination lawsuit against her former employer for firing her after a video of the incident went viral. She is essentially, James, calling the manager on her managers. I'll be here all week. Cooper is claiming. Cooper claims. She claims that the firm, Franklin Templeton, terminated her employment without doing any investigation into the confrontation. I'm sorry, we saw the video, Amy. And if you're wondering where the discrimination part of the discrimination lawsuit comes in, this is it right here. She's suing them for discrimination against her because of her race and her gender, because she's a white woman. Her lawsuit says that, quote, Franklin Templeton perpetuated and legitimized the story of Karen versus an innocent African-American to its perceived advantage with reckless disregard for the destruction of the plaintiff's life in the process. So, in other words, anyway, I'm not going to do it again. She's Karening the Karen trope. She is trying to call the managers on the Karen trope. But you're a Karen. Here's the other thing. She described this. She described the guy. His name is, was it Brian Cooper? It'll come to me in a second. As an overzealous bird watcher engaged in Central Park's ongoing feud between bird watchers and dog owners. Now, the guy in the video, we're gonna watch the video. But the guy in the video, he actually went out on television last year to defend her and to say, well, I don't think at first he said, I don't think she's racist and I don't think she should lose her job because, it's not America unless you have some well-meaning black person who's going to forgive a white person for their sins. And then Amy Cooper turned around and called him an overzealous bird watcher. And she claims that she has been discriminated because of her race and gender. In case people don't remember, let's watch the entire exchange where she made it very clear how much of a Karen she was. Let's take a look at it.
Please don't come close to me.
I'm taking pictures and calling the cops.
Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Please tell them whatever you like.
Would you please stop? Sir, I'm asking you to stop.
Please don't come close to me.
Sir, I'm asking you to stop recording me.
Please don't come close to me.
Please take your phone off.
Please don't come close to me.
I'm taking a picture and calling the cops.
Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Please tell them whatever you like.
She knows that's a threat. She knows that's a threat. Here's the thing. You can come back to us. That's enough of that. That video. That video actually kind of sends me, man. I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call the cops and tell him an African American man is threatening my life. It ceases to be funny because she knows exactly what would have happened to Christian Cooper. I said Brian Cooper. That's a different person altogether. Christian Cooper, who's no relation to Amy Cooper. She knows full and damn well that the cops would have came and shot that man. And now she's the victim. Karen, please. I wish we had. I wish we had that clip. I didn't get a chance to clip it yet. One of our patrons, B, called in, and we were talking about how we need to have a Karen rehabilitation center.
Oh my gosh, yes.
B called in and was the spokesperson for the Karen Rehabilitation Center. This is where she needs to be sentenced. Amy Cooper needs to go to the Karen Rehabilitation Center because not only was she a Karen with Christian Cooper, but now she's Karening her bosses, calling the managers on her managers, saying that she's been discriminated against because she's a white woman, when clearly in this video she tried to get that black man killed over a feud between dog watchers and dog walkers and bird watchers. You gonna get a black man killed over that? Okay. That's why you shouldn't have forgave her, Christian.
Exactly, dude. And then I hope they get her ass for animal cruelty. Did you see how she was flying that dog around, dog?
Bro, listen, had that been one of us, we would have got for animal cruelty. Man, Peter would have been on our ass so quick. Man, it would have been a mess. But this is what happens, man. Christian went out there and he didn't want to press charges because, he didn't think, but honestly, had the cops showed up. And here's the other thing. Before I even finish that thought, she was charged with making a false report, and they dropped the charges on her after she went to counseling. What good was the counseling if now she's coming out and saying that she's the victim, right? What good is the counseling in the sense of it's sufficient to drop the charges? Because if you drop the charges because she went to counseling, that suggests that counseling helped reveal to her the error in her ways. But now her behavior with this lawsuit is saying she ain't learned a damn thing. So at all. To me, it means they need to bring those charges back against her because she didn't learn a damn thing, and she is going to be a threat to another black man who's out there trying. And how big of a threat? Dude, we a threat when we bird watching?
Bird watching. I can just be standing there, just looking like me, with not even smiling. If I just sit here and smile, they automatically gonna think that I'm a threat. They gonna roll up on me so quick, bro. I'm okay.
You over there looking like Rick Ross. They gonna think you out there trying to,
come attack me,
bruh. It is so sickening to see how deeply rooted. It's so deep. Racism is in this country. It's so deeply rooted that Karen, Amy Cooper, knew full and damn well that all she had to do was call the police and say that it was a black man out there, and they would come guns a-blazing. That Christian Cooper could have died that day.
Yeah.
All because she didn't like him watching birds.
He wanted to be bipartisan. See what I did there?
That's a good callback. Yeah. He's trying to be all bipartisan, peaceful, kumbaya. Yeah. We want to walk across the aisle and stuff. Nah, sometimes y'all listen. Pull that with me. I'm pressing charges to the full extent of the law. I'm gonna go Karen. See, if black folks turn and went as Karen as some of these white folks be Karen and us, man, y'all have gotten away with a whole lot because we have this propensity to forgive. Right. We've been trained and indoctrinated as a part of our faith. Black people are overwhelmingly religious, and we like to extend a level of forgiveness. But I've come to terms with that in my life, James. I still think I'm a good Christian. I ain't forgiving shit. I'm sorry. That I didn't mean. I honestly did not mean to do that. I ain't forgiving none of you. Every offense against us cannot be forgiven because continuing to forgive you is allowing you to get away with it, which means you're going to do it again.
Yep.
You got to learn something, which means you got to pay a price, which means I ain't got time to come out here to a press conference and say, I forgive you. Nope. No. We going eye for an eye, politically speaking.
Yeah.
All right. That said, we have only about 3 minutes before we got to get out of here. What you got over there, James?
Right. Okay. Couple of super chats real quick. Gyro said, like somebody else has said, credit unions are the way to go. I've lost so much money to overdraft fees. It's unreal. Infinite Content just bought up something. So Amazon just bought MGM for $8.5 billion. But Bezos' space firm is trying to get a $10 billion grant from the government. Man, if Bezos don't start paying his taxes,
we're gonna eat the rich.
Right, y'all know that ain't gonna happen. Oh man, Twitch sent over a few. I can run these down real quick. All right.
Yeah, run them down.
Afro Puff, then do stock buybacks. All right. cash $42.90, which is why they don't mind if you focus on this while they loan out your deposits and make 10 times that money while many struggle to pay rent. Absolutely.
That's exactly what these banks are doing. Absolutely.
Absolutely, Ben. Afro Puff. The thing is, Trump's presidency highlighted all the grift that's going on. You know what? That's actually very real. Prior to Boy being in the office, the man 45 being in the office,
man-child.
It was like man-child, right? Little hand man, little hands. It was like before he was in office, none of this was. It wasn't. It wasn't.
A lot of folks weren't paying attention. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Now, when Trump got in office, it's just he exposed everything. Like, oh, you just bought out all the white supremacists. All right, there. Appreciate it.
The whole gang.
Right. Comrade Taco, the triple Karen.
That's what we got. It was a Karen. It was a Karen of a Karen of a Karen. Right. We got to identify Karens like Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure and Bill and Ted used to do. It was like the way you knew something was good is if they'll say, oh, it's non-excellent. But you got to understand.
No, right.
So this is a Karen of a Karen of a Karen of a Karen. That's what she did.
Right. All right. Chicken Fried Dragon. She's a level 57 Karen. Yes. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, if you put up Karens on levels, she's definitely level 57.
She's a 57th degree Karen,
she's
man.
Like Super Saiyan Karen Infinite. Super Saiyan Karen Gold. Super Saiyan Karen God. She's all of that.
She is no man. She is the Thanos of Karens, bro. Go ahead.
She's the Thanos of Karens.
Oh,
I love it. Comrade Taco just gave us the name. It was Mr. Cooper. Chicken Fried Dragon said she wants to speak to the regional manager. You know what? I'm going to write a letter.
That's exactly.
Edric 1312 said she ended up getting the doll back. I heard. Oh, so they did take the doll back from her. Good. Okay. Crazy heifer. Jam Toom said, sounds like the counseling failed and the courts failed by dropping the charges rather than delaying them. Yep.
Yeah. That's all from Twitch, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, wait. One last
super chat.
Tracy Jones sent 50 stars. Chicken Fried Dragon said, eat the rich, Ben. They aren't even seasoned.
Let me read this last one from Tiger.
Yeah, get the last super chat. Yeah.
Tiger's super chat is really dope. He said, I've decided that my form of Christianity is Jesus with the whip in the temple, flipping the tables over capitalists.
Amen.
Church said amen. All right, folks, listen, if you're a patron, stay tuned for the after party. We're not going to stay too long, but we are going to have a little bit of fun in the after party. Patreon.com/like it or not. If you're a patron of the Benjamin Dixon Show, the link is already there. You can just stay there, click on the link. And if you're a Twitch subscriber, we're still waiting on Twitch to fix their email system. They took their email system down. If you need the link, we just send a whisper, which is Twitch lingo for a DM. Send a DM to my producer, David, and he will get you the link to the after party. That said, James, take us out of here, man.
Y'all, we thank you so much for tuning in this morning, watching Like It or Not. We greatly appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all in the morning. Y'all make sure that you stay tuned for the after party if you're a patron member. And if you're not a patron member yet, you too can join. Patreon.com/like it or not. Patreon.com/like it or not. And do make sure you follow our social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, Like It or Not Show. Instagram and Facebook, Like It or Not Show, man. We love y'all so much. We appreciate all the love today. Hey, we'll see y'all in the morning, y'all. After party, let's get it.
No, you just can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No. I know it's hard to be polite, and it's easy being fair. Mama used to tell me, God, I use you when you ready. Man, it's crazy how my brother said it could have been my cell. It's either prison or a grave. That's what everybody tell me. Man, life ain't a beach, it's a female dog. I'm staying 10 toes down, though I still might fall. Oh yeah, now I done came through, knocking pictures off you all. Cause loving people who persecute you, it's still a tough light up on my path and a lamp under my feet. I know my faith's strong.
Right, Dwayne. I was about to get in there too. But I was like, you know what? That's not air friendly, so let me not say that.